Sup? It's Hallie, and welcome back to welcome to DDLC. It's the Yuri thing. We're going, okay? We're just going. Let's go. Day 2.
Entering the literature club, I see that I'm the first one here. I spend half my time in the club room trying to figure why people are suddenly warning me about Sakomoto-san. The other half of the time, I was browsing the internet on my phone to find what I was looking for. Eventually, I found the article talking about common errors and thinking patterns. A lot of it sounds like what I experience on a regular basis. I try to skim down to find solutions, but I don't get far.
Hi, Yuri, you beat us here, said someone.
I jumped slightly before turning around to see Sayori and Natsuki. Oh, hi. Yeah, I came right here when our class was over. So... I struggled to clumsily stuff my phone into my bag, making the situation seem more suspicious than it should be. Not than it should be.
You seem kind of freaked out. Should we be checking out your phone?
No, I wasn't looking at anything inappropriate.
Come on, Yuri, I was just messing with you.
Natsuki and Sayori start talking among themselves. A moment later, Monica arrives. Sakamoto-san is with her. They walked here together, or did they happen to get here at the same time? Wait, why am I thinking about that? Am I feeling jealous? State not a question. I became aware of my anxiety starting to set in, but this time, somehow, I don't give in to it. I quickly compose myself and decide to approach Sakamoto-san first. Welcome back, Sakamoto-san. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you.
Not at all, Yuri. Me coming to the club yesterday wasn't a one-time thing.
Before I could say more, Natsuki pops up out of nowhere.
Well, you better not be struggling. A single poem is something that should be fun, not challenging or boring.
I believe the word you're looking for is tedious.
Whatever.
Huh?
Natsuki storms off, and Sakamoto-san his attention to Sayori. Why did he say that to Natsuki? He probably isn't aware that she hates those kinds of words. And why was she so angry again after she had decided not to react like that anymore? I must be missing something. Natsuki is by the closet and looks pretty upset. I decide to go talk to her. She's busy moving a chair towards the closet. That never ends well. I can help you with that. Natsuki nods and I begin to reach for the manga on the highest shelf. As I set the box down, I notice she looks lost in thought. Natsuki, can I ask you something?
Yeah?
Why were you so aggressive with Sakamoto-san just now? Did something happen?
No.
She's hesitant to say more, but I don't push her.
I was just trying to put for you. Look out for you, maybe?
I don't understand. What did you think he was going to do? Why does everyone think something is going to happen to me? She's not saying anything, and she won't look me in the eyes. Natsuki, can you tell what's going on? Please. She finally turns my way again and seems to be getting ready to explain.
I can't help explaining it. I just have this feeling. There's something about that guy I can't put my finger on.
That still doesn't explain why she got upset. You're probably right, but I don't think we're going to figure this out by keeping our distance. We're going to have to act normal until he gives himself away somehow. She nods as I lower the last of her manga down from the top.
Okay, I'll try. Thanks, Yuri.
She smiles in a way that makes me feel a little better. No worries. The pleasure's all mine. I decide that she and I could both use some quiet time. As I walk to my desk, I think about how strange it is that Natsuki, Monica, and I all seem to be acting differently around Sakamoto-san. Then I realize how silly that sounds, like something out of one of my science fiction stories. This should probably be a comma instead of a hyphen. I shake off the thoughts as I sit down and take out Portrait of Markov. At that moment, I get a text from my father. He's asking if I can come right after the meeting. He needs to finish working on a story that just started breaking. He would need me to start on dinner to free up time for him. Free up time? Okay. Of course I say yes. Then I look up from my phone. Natsuki is reading manga with Sakamoto-san. I don't understand. She doesn't want him talking to me, but she's okay cozying up next to him in the corner. Why is she safe with him and I'm not?
Okay, everyone.
It's time to start sharing poems.
Oh, come on. Could your timing be any worse?
Sorry. Natsuki looks really irritated that she has to stop reading with Sakamoto-san.
Do you want me to take this home and finish it by myself? That's not
going to happen. Natsuki would never let these books out of her sight.
Yeah, just so we can start on chapter 5 tomorrow, but bring it back in one piece or else.
She's letting him borrow it? I was so shocked I stuttered in my inner monologue. I never imagined her trusting anyone with her collection. I feel more and more confused as I get my poem out of my bag.
Alright, let's see your latest masterpiece.
Monica catches me off guard, but I quickly appeared enthusiastic to keep her from asking what's wrong. I nod my head and smile as she comments on my writing, and I praise her poem heavily. I do the same with Sayori. Then I see Sakamoto-san walking towards me.
Hey, Yuri, I can't wait to see what you came up with for today.
I'm looking forward to reading your poem as well.
Well then, I don't want to keep you in suspense. Here you go.
I smile as he hands me his poem. I read through it carefully. I'm not sure what I expect to find, but I'm really hoping something in his poem will give me a clue into Sakamoto-san's thought process. This is way too sophisticated. He couldn't have possibly thought I would believe this was his own work. Reading on, it dawns on me that his style seems to be mimicking mine very closely. I think he even some lines I had written in my own poems. Used some lines? But I never shown those to anyone. I never showed those to anyone, so she said. Most of the poem talks about seeing things from someone else's point of view, until I get to the end and realize what's really going on. It's not about sharing someone's outlook. It's about taking someone else's identity. Once again, comma, not hyphen.
So, what do you think?
Oh, sorry, Sakamoto-san. I should be giving a critique, I guess. I really want to know how his phrasing could match mine so closely, but I'm too nervous to confront him directly. I decide to try to get him to reveal more by feigning interest. I assume this isn't your first time writing poetry. I mean, this really doesn't feel like the work of a first-time writer.
Of course, I wrote a few stories here and there.
I watch him as he responds. He remains fairly confident. I see.
So, are you saying you like it?
Actually, I felt like I was reading one of my own poems. He shows a flicker of surprise, just for a millisecond, but then continues to smile proudly.
I was hoping you would say that. I really wanted to write something that was influenced by your style.
Expect that. He shouldn't have any idea what my style is. Since I never shared a poem with him before, he made his first mistake. It would be gonna swap this C and P. I decide to try to get him to reveal more by discussing what he thinks about my poem. Okay, my turn. Here's what I came up with. I hand him my paper, but as he looks it over, his composure doesn't fail for a moment.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Our styles are pretty similar. Anyways, I liked the poem. It was short but descriptive.
You didn't think it was too short? Most of my work is a bit longer.
Not at all.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I thought it might be a good idea for this first time, sharing if I wrote something a little more mild. Yep, this time, first time. Something easy to digest, I suppose. I'm positive he had no idea what to make of my poem. His vague generalized comments were nowhere near convincing. Until he continues on.
Well, it is a shorter poem, but it's still very expressive with lots of meaningful symbolism. It opens itself up to a number of different interpretations, such as the way the speaker compares herself to a ghost. It's as though she lingers on in the last place she found comfort, unable to let go of the past. You don't need this space here, bro. And soon to be left with nothing. Is something wrong, Yuri?
No. I was just thinking again about how impressed I was with your poem. Don't need the space either. You really caught me off guard just now. Where did that analysis come from?
You seemed really confused for a moment. I hope I didn't ruin your poem-sharing experience.
No, I mean, I was nervous about it at first, but in the end I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, I have one more member to show my poem to. See you later.
He walks over to Monica, who seems to have been waiting for him. All this did was confirm what I already knew. There's something he isn't telling us.
Hey, Yuri, said someone.
Natsuki came over to me while I was lost in thought.
I know we've been walking home together lately, but do you mind if I meet you at your place a little later today? We've been walking home.
Oh, sure.
I just need to make a stop to visit my grandma. I also have to pick up something at the market.
Of course. Actually, Father texted me just a little while ago. I have to go straight home to help out with dinner.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would help too, but I really need to see Grandma first.
No, that's okay. I cooked alone before. You need to call me here too. Maybe we can talk after dinner. I had something I wanted to ask you.
About what?
Okay, everyone. Monica signals the end of the activity. Natsuki and I got so off track, we didn't even share our poems with each other. We're going to have some free time for the rest of the meeting, so enjoy yourselves. Monica, didn't you want us to work on our homework like usual? Oh, don't worry about that. We'll have our study session again next meeting. I turned to make a comment to Natsuki, but she's already on her way back to the closet. I decide to go back to reading. At my desk, I take out Father's book and soon I'm absorbed in it that I don't notice my Sakamoto-san approaching it. No, soon I'm so absorbed in it. That's right.
Hey, Yuri.
Oh, hi Sakamoto-san. I didn't see you walk over.
I didn't mean to sneak up on you. I just wanted to ask you about what kind of things you like to read.
For a moment, the question throws me off guard. I don't think anyone has ever asked me this before. But even though he seems very suspicious during the poem sharing, I still don't feel like I have any reason to keep my guard up. I answer him honestly. It would be seemed it's past tense. I begin then to describe my fondness for complex fantasy world, just one, and deep psychological elements. I mention how impressed I am by authors who demonstrate creativity and craftsmanship in developing immersive settings. Also, I mentioned that I recently developed an interest in horror novels.
Seriously? That's a surprise to be sure, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you.
Oh, I find that surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you perceive the world and its moral standards, if only for a brief moment.
Surreal horror, huh? Is that the book you're reading right now?
Well, yes, actually. It's called The Portrait of Markov. My father wrote it. His facial expression seemed to change when I mentioned the title. Are you alright, Sakamoto-san?
What? Yeah, I'm fine. You said The Portrait of Markov, right?
Yes. Don't need to capitalize these.
I've only ever heard of the book, but never gotten the chance to read it.
I could lend you the book when I finish it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
At that moment, Monica stepped to the front of the room again. Okay, everyone. We are just about to run out of time. I hope you enjoyed sharing poems with each other. She goes on to tell us that we need to write another poem for sharing tomorrow, and reminds us to think about ideas for the festival. Everyone began packing up. I expected Sakamoto-san to head straight to Sayori, but turns to me first. He turns to me first.
I appreciate you telling me about the genres you're interested in. Maybe we can talk more another time.
I hesitate for a moment, trying to quest what motivation he could have for wanting to continue the conversation. I draw a blank. Yeah, I don't even know what this word is or is supposed to be. Sure, I would like that. He smiles and turns to get his things. After I getting my bag together, I gave Natsuki a quick wave across the room and head home to make dinner. I guess I would after I get my bag together. Whatever. Father alternates between frantic phone calls and bursts of focused typing. He was very apologetic when I got home. I told him I was happy to help, of course. It wasn't any trouble. He had already gotten everything needed to make Nikujaga, so the preparation was simple. It's probably Nikuhaga, isn't it? I don't know how to pronounce this. Even after making the rice and the soup, I was able to finish early enough to have more time to get through all of my homework for the night. When I got back to finish cooking, Father joins me.
Your mother just texted me. She's almost home, so we can get everything ready now. You need to kind of finish this sentence, or like a comma or anything.
Father knows that I really prefer to prepare Nikujaga a day ahead of time, so that the flavors can have more time to absorb, and this comma is unnecessary. Ideally, he would have made it earlier in the day, but it didn't work out like that this time. He sets the table while I add in the green vegetables and reheat the meal. Just then, we are interrupted by a knock at the door.
I'll get it.
It's probably Natsuki getting back from the hospital. I hear the door open, but I'm surprised when multiple voices begin speaking. Someone is here with Natsuki. I turn the heat down and head to the next room.
Who could it be?
Standing in the living room with Father was Natsuki and...
Look who I found wandering around!
Sakamoto-san was with her. He looks nervously at Father.
I wasn't really wandering. We had plans to meet up. Welcome. I'm Yuri's father, Mr. Tanaka. You must be Sayori's boyfriend. Also, put a period here after honorific prefixes.
It's almost a little funny how taken aback Sakamoto-san at hearing at this. How taken aback Sakamoto-san is at hearing this.
Oh, no. We're just friends. I'm Sakamoto Hali. But Sayori and I have known each other since we were kids. You know, I don't actually know if in Japanese they put their last name and then their first name when introducing themselves. But you know, I'm not a weeb, so I'll leave it to the weebs to determine if that's accurate or not. From my perspective, it seems really weird. And on that note, it's also really weird that she would refer to him by his last name with like an honorific when her friends do not get that same treatment. Just saying.
And Sayori did get Sakamoto-san to join the literature club. I read some of his work for the first time today, actually. I guess we read, but it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, really? And have you been writing for a while, young man?
Again, Sakamoto-san really seems to be struggling to give Father an explanation. It's not as funny this time, though.
Oh, well, not all that. I only recently developed an interest.
Why is he lying? His poem showcases he hadn't been writing for a while. I guess this is unnecessary.
Well, young man, you're welcome to stay for dinner. We got everything ready. We got everything ready, so we're just waiting for my wife to get home.
Natsuki and I give each other a worried glance. Sakamoto-san seems to pick up on our silent communication.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much, but I'm not sure your wife would be comfortable with me staying.
Father looks as through he might protest, but thankfully Natsuki intervenes quickly. Don't need the door.
No, Sakamoto can't stay. He and I were just heading the same way, so we walked here together. Walked, past tense, but he has to get home pretty soon.
Well, that is a shame. Yuri always prefers the Nikujaga to perfection. It's going to be quite the meal. Oh, sorry. It's going to be quite the meal.
Wait, Nikujaga? You didn't tell me that's what you were having for dinner.
Well, I didn't.
Let me see.
Natsuki heads straight for the kitchen. Father lets out an amused laugh.
You know, a lot of times whenever there's a question mark on a statement, I don't feel like I need to point it out, but this one really doesn't work as a question. Should just make that a normal sentence.
Yeah.
Natsuki heads straight for the kitchen. Father lets out an amused laugh.
Well, it was nice meeting you, Sakamoto-san. Sorry you weren't able to stay. Maybe another time. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Father returns to setting up the table. When I turn back to Sakamoto-san, he looks down at the floor and speaks with a low voice.
I'm sorry, Yuri. I didn't mean to cause any problems. I know I should have just gone home, but Natsuki wouldn't listen.
He speaks with complete sincerity. I'm sure he really means what he's saying, and yet he's clearly not telling us everything. It's only been 2 days, but I'm already exhausted from trying to guess what his secret intentions might be. I don't want to spend any more time going over these questions in my head. I decide to just confront him directly. Sakamoto-san, what's really going on?
What do you mean?
He's not admitting anything yet. but I get the idea that he's as tired of this as I am. I don't know what's different about you, or why you really joined the literature club, but I know you're misleading the four of us. The weird part is, even though I know you're hiding something, I still believe that I can trust you. I look at him with a hopeful expression. I can see in his face that he wants to deny it, to act like he doesn't know what I mean, but playing this game has worm him down. He doesn't have the resolve to keep it going.
Yuri, you can trust me.
Then why are you pretending to be something you're not? His expression is conflicted. I keep going. I know what your poem meant, and I know that the person you were before could never have written it. So, what happened to you?
I'm not sure this is the right time for me to explain.
Suddenly, Monica's behavior yesterday and today popped into my head. This time it would be present tense. It's happening right now. Monica knows, doesn't she? He nods, eyes to the ground. So what are you hoping to accomplish?
I only want to help.
My expression is one of total confusion, but at the same time, what he's saying makes sense. He doesn't have some sinister agenda, he only wants to help. That's why I knew that I could trust you. Somehow I sensed you weren't after anything. It was always clear to me, it was everyone else that was suspicious without having any evidence. People like Chris and Ree and Mother. Oh no, Mother! It's only then that I realize her car is pulling into our driveway. She's home and he's still here. I think... He realizes what I noticed.
It's okay. I'll talk to her and leave right away.
But what about you? When will I know what is really happening?
Can I ask you to trust that I'll let you know when the time is right?
It isn't the answer I wanted to hear, but I nod regardless. Mother steps through the door just as Father walks back into the room.
Hello, dear. Have you met the newest member of the literature club?
Mother glares darkly, but Sakamoto-san speaks up first.
We met, sir. In fact, we spoke recently, and from the conversation we had, I think it's best I excuse myself now.
Sakamoto-san then turns to Mother.
I apologize, Tanaka-sensei. I shouldn't have stopped in. I just wanted to make sure Natsuki made it home safely. I'll be leaving now. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, Yuri.
Before anyone can respond, he gives a low bow and walks out the door. Mother takes a deep breath before saying anything.
What was that about? What did he mean about Natsuki getting home safe?
I step in quickly with an explanation that isn't really a lie, but still feels dishonest. Natsuki had to visit her grandmother in the hospital. I couldn't go because I had to help with dinner, so Sakamoto-san walked with her. He was just watching out for her. Mother seems to consider this for a moment. Oh, well, that was nice of him, I suppose. But why did Yuri need to make dinner? I seem to have read my mother's mind. Father begins to explain, but I don't stay to listen. Instead, I join Natsuki in the kitchen. Of course, she finished cooking the vegetables perfectly.
Hey, everything is done. Are we ready to eat?
I wish you would have at least warned me you were bringing him here. Natsuki seems taken aback. I expect her to get defensive, but she seems to think it over before answering.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for him to still be here when your mom got here. Or home. I just thought he would say a quick hello and leave. Have you been talking with him since I came in here?
Yes, and he basically admitted that he hadn't been upfront with us. Upfront is 2 words, always.
Really? Like how? What did he say?
He said that he couldn't explain just yet, but that he would let us know when the time is right. He also said he wanted to help us, but I think he might be the one that needs help.
Why? What's really on? Really going on?
Girls, is everything alright?
Natsuki and I cut our conversation short and bring the meal to the table. It's one of the more awkward dinners our family has had, but Natsuki and I keep my parents distracted with small talk. Afterwards, we clean the dishes together, and to my surprise, Mother joins us.
So, how is your grandmother doing today, Natsuki?
Natsuki gives me a look of surprise.
Better, thank you. Although they still can't say for sure exactly when she'll be coming home. Well, I'm sure they're taking good care of her, and you're welcome to stay until she's back to full health.
Again, we are both taken aback. Where is this concerned, nurturing approach coming from all of a sudden? All of a sudden. Could Father have finally had an influence on her? Either way, I'm just thankful that the argument from last night didn't continue. I haven't apologized yet for raising my voice. The rest of the evening is uneventful, and Natsuki and I eventually head up to our rooms for the night. We stop in the hallway, out of earshot of my parents. No, the was fine.
So what did he say?
He didn't explain what's going on, only something about wanting to help us. Well, yeah, period, or comma, or even semicolon, but not a hyphen. But he did admit that Monica knows the truth.
So, you really believe he isn't after anything?
Yes, the same way I know he's misleading us. I'm also sure he honestly wants to help. With what, I don't know. Suddenly, Natsuki's eyes widen.
Oh, you know what else I forgot to tell you? Those two gutter sluts were trying to hit on him today.
Who?
Sakai and Takao. They were asking him to join their club, and they weren't subtle about what else they wanted.
So, if he was really only interested in meeting girls, then they gave him the perfect opportunity, and he didn't take it. But there's still one thing that bothers me about the situation. I take a breath before continuing. Natsuki, how come you have been warning me to stay away from Sakomoto-san and saying he would try to seduce me, but then you end up reading manga together? Natsuki makes a pained expression that seems to show that she realizes what she did was hypocritical.
I know, but it's like you said. We weren't going to find anything out if we just ignored him. And once we started talking, I could tell he would never do anything like that.
I can't be angry about her explanation. It's what I felt too.
You know, I'm a little surprised though. How did you get him to tell you so much?
That is a good question. I have so much trouble opening to others. Opening up. How was I able to get someone else comfortable enough to do it? I guess I was just honest and direct. Natsuki smiles. What? What's so funny? You think I like him?
No, it's not that. I just think you should follow your instincts more often. Maybe if you were honest and direct more often, you would have more people willing to talk to you. That's what you want, isn't it?
I think she might be right. I tell myself that I'm bad at talking to people. I even struggle speaking with my own family at times, but with Sakamoto-san, I just told him what I was thinking. It can't always be that easy, though. Not a question here. Statement, not a question. Well, this was kind of a unique situation.
Not really. Talking with other people is pretty much always the same. You just say things as you think them up.
I think that's more your style. You're quick to respond. I usually go over what I want to say in my head first.
Yeah, I know. That's what you're doing wrong.
I start to respond, but stop to consider what she's implying. I didn't overthink things in my conversation with Sakamoto-san, and nothing bad happened, so why am I always being so careful with my words? A realization comes over me, which must be evident in my facial expression.
Wow, I just broke you, didn't I?
I cross my arms and put on a mock frown. Natsuki laughs harder as she realizes I'm just being playful, but the truth is, I really need to think about what she's saying. We say goodnight and go to our rooms. This is when I would usually catch up on more reading, but I know better than to try that tonight. Goodnight can actually be one word. I wouldn't be able to focus with all the thoughts going through my head right now. I really don't even know how I'm going to be able to get to sleep. This morning, I made a promise to myself. I promised that the day I would make a change. I'm not entirely sure I fixed anything for the long term, but hopefully I have taken the first step.
Is that it? Just blank text box? I guess that's it. Yep. That is the demo for the Yuri POV for now. Alright, well, it's coming along. I still feel like my best advice to these developers is you should finish your main story first, get that down and set in stone, and then worry about doing like each of the different perspectives for it, because you want to avoid like having to rewrite things as much as possible. And there's just more and more potential for that, like if the further you go along, if you're like changing things as you go. Because like I'm pretty sure I remember from the first time I played this that the conversation that Natsuki and Yuri had, where they were suspicious of Hallie was on like the end of the first day still, but it was like down in their living room instead of like up in the bedroom after like the little mess with Yuri's mom and all that. So I imagine that they probably had to change that on Natsuki's perspective and other things and whatnot. So just gotta watch out for that. It's definitely best to get something down before you start having to change things all over the place. You don't want to rewrite the story 4 times whenever something came to mind. Obviously, the grammar and stuff needed a little help. I pointed out as many typos as I could. I let some repeat ones slip. Like there were a couple of things where I noticed that she could have put spaces, and like it's still kind of got a lot of the same problems that it did the first time I reviewed the mod. But that is going to do it for now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time with more Doki Doki. Hope to see you then. Bye bye!